What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and I saw this interesting article come out just a few days ago. This is on Psychology Today, titled "The Rise of a Lonely Single Men." Of the rise of lonely single men. Dating apps have drastically changed relationship landscape. Dating opportunities for straight men are diminishing as healthy relationship standards change. Men represent approximately 62% of dating app users, lowering their chances for matches. Men need to address the skills deficits to meet their healthier relationship standards. Now, I would say, in general, I've had some opinions on dating apps in my life, but, actually several of my friends, have gotten married off people they met on dating apps. So they're not all like hookup apps, but I would say maybe the first step would be to get off hookup apps. And maybe try meeting women in real life if you can, first and foremost. But this says younger and middle-aged men are the loneliest they've been in generations, and it's probably going to get worse. This is not my typical rosy view of relationships, but a reality nonetheless. Over the last 30 years, men have become a larger portion of that growing group of long-term single people. And while you don't actually need to be in a relationship to be happy, men typically are happier and healthier when partnered. Here are the three broad trends in relationships. First, dating apps. When you start using a dating app, or you've recently divorced and dating again, dating apps are a huge driver of new romantic connections. The only problem is that upwards of 62% of users are men. Many women are overwhelmed with how many options they have. Competition in online dating is fierce, and lucky in-person chance encounters with dreamy partners are rarer than ever, especially when half the population is afraid to go outside. Relationship standards, with so many options, it's not surprising that women are increasingly selective. I do a live TikTok show and speak with hundreds of audience members every week. I hear reoccurring dating themes from women between the ages of 25 and 45. They prefer men who are emotionally available, good communicators, and share similar values. Well, duh, that's been the case since the beginning of time. Skills deficit. For men, this means a relationship skills gap that is not addressed will likely lead to fewer dating opportunities, less patience for poor communication skills, and longer periods of being single. The problem for men is that emotional connection is the lifeblood of healthy long-term love. Emotional connections require all the skills that families are still not consistently teaching young boys. While there's probably no chance of stemming the rising tide of unintentionally single men, there's still good news. Now, I will tell you this. Maybe raising your sons as confident young men, reducing the amount of garbage entertainment they consume, getting them out in public, talking to people. These are probably good things. I think that a lot of guys, I guess I can't say this for girls because I'm not a girl. I don't hang out with many girls. I'm married. But I do find that men, in my age group do have problems talking to women. But there's a complex set of reasons for that. Some guys just never are good at talking to women. That's just how they are. They're not good at talking to strangers or starting conversations. There's also men that have been damaged by hookup culture. There are men who have unrealistic expectations of women because they've spent too much time in parasocial relationships with Twitch thoughts. There's a lot of things that are damaging men and their ability, by the way. And there are also a lot of single, happy men who are divorced and have no interest in getting into another long-term relationship. And I have friends that are single and happy. They spend their money on what they want to spend it on. They don't answer to anybody. They don't want kids. They just want to live their life. And they want to have their collector's cars, or they want to spend however much money they want on hobbies. And that's okay. The algorithm, the article writes, is becoming increasingly more complex on dating apps and other online platforms. One benefit is that great matches are on the rise. Hinge, one dating app, found through beta trials that 90% of users rated their first date positively, with 72% indicating they want a second date. How can men reap the benefit of algorithms? Level up your mental health game. This means getting into some individual therapy. Oh, wow. Psychology Today is telling me to go to therapy. That's like going to a chiropractor and having them say, oh, yeah, you definitely need to have a realignment. No, you don't need therapy to learn how to talk to women. Okay. It means valuing your own internal world and respecting your ideas enough to communicate them effectively. It means seeing intimacy, romance, and emotional connection as worthy of your time and effort. Fair. That's fair. Ultimately, we have an opportunity to revolutionize romantic relationships. I think that there are lots of men out there who have chosen to go their own way. There are men out there, again, divorced or not, who are happy to just stay single. And I don't think I can judge that as correct or incorrect. I've basically been a serial monogamist my whole life. I mean, I've never had this is gonna sound I've never had a long period of being single, not even like dating all the way back to when I was 14 or 15. I was always dating somebody. Maybe that says more about me that, you know, like maybe I rely too much on relationships like that. And I often wonder sometimes like what it would be like to have been single like during college or, you know, things like that. I don't like fantasize about it, but you know, it's like I didn't live in a dorm. I lived in an apartment with my girlfriend. I didn't go to any college parties because we both worked and we didn't have mommy and daddy paying for our college education. And, you know, I'd had a different kind of college experience. But what I do think is that men have a strong position to negotiate from, especially men with strong jobs, strong finances. You know, the things that make men attractive now are just the same as they've always been. Confident, strong, good job, not buried in debt, doesn't wear too much cologne. You know, fellas, cologne is meant to be discovered, not announced. These things have never changed. And maybe there's more men on these dating apps because so many people just use them for hookups. And, you know, I think in general, dating apps are a good thing because they, you know, open up the world to, you know, more, you can meet people you never otherwise meet. However, they are also one of the biggest drivers in, you know, increase in, you know, STDs and things of that nature and promiscuity. You know, there's been plenty of guys and girls that I know that are like hooking up with random people consistently through dating apps. It's gross. And they're going to not have a lot to offer the world, except maybe some like red irritated bumps. And now this interesting though, this is Feminist News shared this article and just said, perish. These aren't feminists. These are man haters. And these comments are absolutely amazing. Like, listen to some of these women. I'm a therapist, and I've been considering offering workshops for men on how to be better communication skills through dating apps. You don't need better communication skills. You know your worth, and that's really, you lead with that. The rise of misogyny too. God forbid they look inward and improve themselves. ... It's like this is like a gaggle of deeply dry vages, you know, like very sad women. The article should be titled "The Rise of Women Who Are Standing Up for Themselves." As an older woman, I'm so proud of the progress being made by the younger generation. What exactly is that progress? Having multiple partners, having kids out of wedlock, being fooled by modern feminism to think that you're supposed to put your entire life, you're supposed to work. Women are happy when they work 80 hours a week, which is just not true. I mean, you had this broad, Mindy Kaling, right? This Hollywood feminist. She tells parents to pay for her college daughters to freeze their eggs and promotes single motherhood. That sounds like a cope to me. It sounds like you're desperately trying to justify your unhappiness. Freeze their eggs? Why, so they can go get ground down by the machine in corporate America for 40 years and then hate life and then they gotta have and then they can have a kid that was put in a freezer for the last 20 years. That's not natural. Now, some people have to do it for various reasons, or there's in vitro or whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about telling young women that what you need to do is go to work. You need to work all day. I'll tell you what, I've never met happier women than the ones that are homemakers. Never. Never. Now, I've definitely partied with and hung out with some kind of cutthroat businesswomen too. I worked in corporate America for a long time, and they're fun to hang out with. But, I'm not sure I would want to marry somebody who's working 80 to 100 hours a week. That's just me, though. So I don't think that this is a rise in lonely men. I think that there are men who are checking out effectively, and that women are getting a false sense of security and scarcity. And that's not going to stay that way forever. Young men, stay off Twitch, play sports, get a hobby, get a job as soon as you can when you're 14, because money means freedom. Get a car, you learn all this stuff. None of it's changed. These dried up old feminists, they'll never change either. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.